Okay, so we've collected our calibration data for the new reference solution. We ran 6 samples through the instrument and it's come back with an average of 0.9792. So for the control chart, we're going to center the average of the process on the numbers that we've collected from this calibration data. So what we'll be doing is updating this table, and that will lead to some updates in the control chart, and we're also going to have to adjust some axes in the control chart. First up, we want to move to a start date of February 2023. So I'm just going to update these first 2 dates. Now if I block these 2 in, Excel will pick up and assume that we've got a series happening in jumps of 7 days, which is what I want. So just by changing those 2 and then auto-filling, that's the date done correctly, from our starting date, 2nd of February, to our next session, which will be on the 9th of February. I also want to change the control limits according to the new reference solution. We're going to assume the same variation from sample to sample as we had last year. So the distance from the sample average to the upper control limit will remain the same at 0.014. But first, to change the value of the process average, just type equals and pick up the average from the calibration data and enter. I want to copy this value all the way down, so I'm going to place an equals, the cell above is the method I'm going to use here, and then with the auto reference, this will fill this field like so. Now of course the upper control limit, we're setting it at the standard value plus 0.014. That's the maximum limit for the variation on the upper control limit side. Similarly for the lower control limit side, it'll be the value of the standard minus 0.014. Okay, so we've made all the necessary changes as far as the data table is concerned. I just need now to bring the control chart in line so that it matches perfectly to this table. First up, to note that the date axis is going to need to change because these dates actually refer to 2022. So to do that, I'm going to right click, I'm choosing Format Axis, which is at the bottom of the pop-up menu, and from here I'm going to update these numbers which reflect the number of days from January 1900. We've calculated that the maximum at 45,200 will work well. And then the minimum I'm going to change to 44,959, which we identified corresponds to exactly the 2nd of February 2023. Okay, so the x-axis, which is the date axis, has been formatted correctly. Now just to fix the y-axis so that the range that's displayed corresponds to where we have the control level set. So checking back, I need to display between 0.96 and 0.99. I think I'm going to go to 0.95 up to 1.0, and we'll see how that works as the minimum and maximum for this y-axis. So right click and going to Format Axis, minimum of 0.95 and a maximum of 1. And we see there that's a pretty good starting point for displaying the control limits. Just going to move the labels for the control limits. And there we have a control chart set up, ready to go. As we collect data throughout the season, we're going to expect the process to vary in a random but predictable manner, in that it should stay always between the upper and lower limits each time we read a value for that reference standard.